Super Bowl. I mean, you're talking about culture.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl performance was nothing but culture.
Right.
Big subliminals. You actually had to pay attention.
Right.
What you think?
I thought the Super Bowl, so it's kind of another entity where I don't really give a fuck about because I never really cared about the culture. But salute to Jay-Z, salute the Rock Nation. You know, when Jay came on board, the focus was to modernize it, right? Bring in acts and artists that are, you know, huge stars that maybe haven't had that Super Bowl experience prior.
Well, I mean, look at the players themselves inside of the NFL. Who are they listening to? Your Drakes, your Kendricks, your Coles, little babies.
Yeah, it's a different generation too. So, performance though. So my thoughts on a performance in itself, I thought it was dope. To see the first solo hip hop artist at that level, it's crazy to see, man. You know, Super Bowl never gave no love before. You know what I mean? So it's just, like I said, it's a testament to the culture. Nothing runs without the culture. So for me, looking at Kendrick headlining, it's a huge deal. I mean, I thought Dre, Snoop, and M was a big deal, and it was. But transitioning into Kendrick solo at the Super Bowl, being him 100%, right? I think a lot of people don't realize that when we talk about hip-hop, there was a segment in a Super Bowl performance that really kind of hit me, right? Samuel L. Jackson is narrating. He's Uncle Sam. He says, nah, Kendrick, it's too ghetto. It's too hood. Of course, you got all your friends right here. You lose a life in the concept of the game, right? We playing the game, America, right? You want me to headline the Super Bowl, right? But you want me to conform into whatever box you want to put me in. And Kendrick is the perfect artist and the perfect MC to say, hey, guess what? Fuck you. I'm not playing your game. I'm going to do it my way. And whoever rocks with me, they're going to understand. And whoever doesn't, it is what it is, but I'm not going to change myself for this opportunity. So for me, from a respect level, I got to salute it. I have to. Because for so many years, bro, hip-hop has been put in a box where we have to conform. If you think about it, if you take hip-hop to the genesis, right? Hip-hop was, and hip-hop is, it's literally the MCs are reporters telling us what's happening in their neighborhoods. It's through music. They're expressing themselves through the music.
Right.
Right? So for it to be taken, and then you go into NWA, fuck the police, the whole rebel mentality, that came from hip-hop. Because those people had their back against the wall. They come out swinging. You know what I mean? And they made these cultural impacts by being unadulterated themselves, right? Unapologetically themselves. And that's what Kendrick did on a Super Bowl stage. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, for me, shouts to Jay, shout to Rock Nation, shout to the NFL for giving him that opportunity. Because if he would have went out there and kind of cookie cuttered it, I don't think necessarily that the mainstream people don't care. People that are just there to watch football, they don't give a fuck. They're just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, I think I've heard this song before. Not like us. My kids listen to it. Or I heard it here, I heard it there.
Right.
But us who pay attention to the culture, or even just are maybe casual hip hop listeners, like hip hop is all about expression and being yourself. And Kendrick, he did that 100%. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Now, do you think that he was the right one as the first solo hip hop artist?
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, who else is on the table? Who else could you put in that spotlight?
I mean, let's just start big. Jay.
Yeah.
Like,
but then how do the optics look on that if Jay's
doing his own Super Bowl?
Right. If Jay's in charge of the performances,
right.
You know, what's it like for Jay to just be like, huh? I mean, it's a Jay-Z move, don't get me wrong. But I think Jay has enough respect for what he's assigned to do for the NFL to make it special. Right. Well, I think Jay will perform. I think he will at some point. I hope he does. You know what I'm saying? But I think we gotta realize with the Super Bowl, right? It's really about legacy. And I'm not a sports fan, so I can't really tell you the legacy of the game other than it's been around for, 55 plus years they have had Super Bowls?
Well,
so when they started doing right, but when they started doing the halftime show, like, yeah, they would have acts that were maybe popular at the time, but they were always legacy acts. You think about it, like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, you know what I mean? Prince. So it's like they had acts that were legacy acts, but they also had fairly newer acts. You know what I mean? So I think there's always been a balance of that. But who else than Kendrick? You know, Drake would have been a great thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Did Drake ever get an invite? I'm pretty sure they would have had to reach out to him for it.
They said
they'd be stupid to not reach out to Drake.
He said he turned it down like, 5 times now?
He turned it down?
That's what he said.
Who said that?
I'm pretty sure Drake has said that.
Drake said that himself?
Pretty sure.
Like what, in an interview, or he said that like on records, or?
I don't know if it was an interview or if he was just, talking on like a IG live or something. Something like that. I honestly have no idea. I don't know where it comes from. I have no idea. That's just what I hear.
The thing is, like, Drake is one of those guys, though, if you think about it, he's one of those legacy acts. Mainstream America likes him. You know what I'm saying? He's got connections to the hip-hop culture.
That Super Bowl would be fire.
Right. It probably would have been a smart idea.
Mainstream would love that shit.
So maybe Drake saying no is what made them bring the Kendrick. I mean, Kendrick had an incredible year, so yeah, I mean, it has to be him. Who else could it be? Think about it. Right.
I mean, I couldn't.
Right. The dope thing about the Super Bowl, too, for me was that, in hip-hop, especially a lot of MCs, a lot of people don't catch the lines. They don't catch the lines and the hooks, so they keep fishing. And what I mean by that is they keep fishing for something inside the record to resonate with them. And it's usually the beat. Mm-hmm. They say that the dumb is intrigued by the beat. So for me to have Kendrick get up on the stage, be a lyrical guy, right? A lyrical MC, and him not having, these a couple of takeaways I had. Number one, him performing without a backtrack is impressive. I don't think people understand the stamina you got to have in your lungs to rap and move around. Like, he was dancing a little bit, like he was getting his groove on. So to be able to rap, sing, whatever you got to do while you're dancing, performing, that's a tough feat. So shout to Kendrick for having that stamina, because, he said it in a lot in his recent records, like, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to train my win. He's showing and proving. Boom. He coming out here, dancing, MCing, no backtrack. I love that.
Running up and down the field.
Like, I love that shit. Now, I see a lot of people was complaining, oh, his song selection, he should have did this, he should have did that. At the end of the day, that is all debatable. We could sit here all day and come up with a set list. But honestly, for me, I think that it was a perfect set list for what he needed, but it played within the concept that he was trying to convey. America, This is me. This is Kendrick Lamar from Compton, California. I'm going to do what I do regardless. Fuck you if you don't like it. But if you fuck with me, I'm here. This is what I represent. Right. So I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it 100%. We had a lot of conversations on the pod about him doing Not Like Us. I know a lot of our guests and coaches like, nah, he ain't going to do it. I knew he was going to do it.
There's no way you can't do it.
No way you can do it.
You just run 5 Grammys off of it.
I love how he teased it, though, through the performance.
That was fire.
It's like, oh, yeah. Because, you know, again, it plays in that narrative of like, be good, Kendrick. Be cookie cutter. Be accept. Make sure that you're not too. It's like changing your tone. Don't be too ghetto there, Kendrick. I need you to be on your best behavior, Mr. Compton, California, because you know they don't like your kind around here. You understand what I'm saying? So him doing that and playing towards that concept, I loved it, man. I thought it was fire. You know what I'm saying? And he's the perfect artist to do that. To be frank. No, I don't think there could have been any other artists that have that impact, especially with last year. His 2024 was insane, bro. No one had a bigger year than Kendrick. No one had a bigger record than Kendrick. So having a Super Bowl, and another thing, side note, the marketing campaign and everything going on with his team is so precise because he's got the tour coming. You know what I'm saying? He's adding dates overseas. It's a perfect layup for him. He's like, yo, I just won 5 Grammys. I just headlined a Super Bowl. I just dropped my album. He dropped his album before all of this. So, yeah, man. I fucks with it.
And it's doing first week sales again.
It's crazy. Well, that's the beauty about performing a Super Bowl.
Oh,
I remember
the numbers are inflated like a motherfucker after.
I don't remember like what the statistics were, but I just remember hearing like Super Bowl, artists who perform at the Super Bowl, they don't usually get like a check to perform. But it's what happens in the aftermath. Everyone's searching for the music. You know, you're in front of 100 million plus people. So people are going to search and be like, yo, what was this? Maybe someone who never heard Kendrick Lamar before be like, yo, what was this? Let me check this out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he's going to be good regardless. You know what I'm saying? I also saw something, too, that was crazy. They said viewership-wise, he basically beat out MJ. Because MJ had like the #1 Super Bowl performance as far as viewership. Yeah. And he beat MJ. Now, I see a lot of people complaining and debating like, oh, it's legacy media. You know, you only had a TV back then. So that was raw number. You know, Nielsen only counts one household. There could be 10 people in your house, but only one of them watched the television that Nielsen calculated. Oh, well, now we have cell phones and we have this, that, and the third. To me, the impact is so strong. This might go down as one of the greatest Super Bowl performances ever. Let me ask you a question, because I've been getting this question. A lot of people were upset at the Super Bowl, with the Kendrick performance because of the
classics.
The what?
The classics.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I think a lot of people were upset because it was foreign to them. They didn't understand it, right? Like I heard a lot of people saying, well, why didn't they just get Paul McCartney? Why didn't they grab Andy Gibb? Oh, shit, Andy Gibb's dead. My apologies. Rest in peace. But you understand what I'm saying? Like The
Who. I saw somebody saying The Who. They were like, you know, comparing it to that from what, 10, 15 years ago or whatever it was.
So my question to you is, what was the other side? So obviously we felt it. We understood it. We comprehended we were picking up what Kendrick was putting down. What were some of the kind of clashes on the other side that you was hearing?
The clashes on the other side is literally the classics, the Setlist. Oh, I wanted him to play Don't
That's
Kill My
trivia,
Vibe. I wanted him to play Swimming Pools.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted,
cool.
you
know what I wanted to hear? The Black of the Berry. But it's okay.
Right. And you can't nitpick
on
the set list.
Yeah, like we could be trivial on that shit. Nah, like I heard a lot of people, and I guess from what I was hearing, it was deeper than that. It was like, yo, who is this kid? Why is he performing? Oh, it's only because he's dissing Drake. So I seen a lot of that. And then I seen a lot of people saying like, yo, hip hop music doesn't belong at the Super Bowl. I saw a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's where I'm always going to be a voice in the culture and be like, nah, we can have the Who, we can have Prince, we can have all these great musicians. Just because it's hip hop doesn't mean that they're not great artists, right, or great musicians.
Right.
Like, let's not go down that path of playing ping pong about who's a better artist or who, just because you can't comprehend their lyrics, just because your brain is fucking slow, doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the world can't pick up what Kendrick's putting down.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
The other thing too. No, go ahead.
The one thing that I heard a lot of is I don't understand what he's saying. I don't understand him. I'm not picking up on a word that he's saying, and it's like listening to it. I don't understand how you don't pick up word for word what he's saying. Now, understanding what he's saying is totally different. Trying to piece together, this sentence that he just threw down with 3 entendres, I get that.
But that's the casual, that's the people who don't understand what hip hop's about.
Right.
And that, and I think that was the gamble that I think the NFL probably had with a lot of their, top executives. Is like, all right, if we put this guy on stage, are the people going to be able to Are people gonna be happy with it? And I think Roger Goodell and Jay was saying, hell yeah, bro, this guy's incredible, right? He's got people love Kendrick. People know, guy's a fucking Pulitzer Prize winner. He just won 5 Grammys. Like, of course we made a good decision. The other thing I really liked about the performance, bro, and this is just more me being, because I'm a rebel at heart. You know what I mean? And hip hop's very much so anti-establishment. The fact that Kendrick fucking Lamar was on stage at the Super Bowl in front of the President of the United States with that imagery, that concept, and being able to speak about, black culture and hip hop culture in front of the president and doing it the way that he did takes balls. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Kendrick knew the president was going to be there. I don't even think a lot of people knew the president was going to be there.
Right.
But the sheer fact that you're able to do that on a high level, literally you're in front of the most people ever. Everyone watches the Super Bowl, bro. Grandmas, aunties, uncles, kids. My kids was watching that shit.
They were saying it was like the most watched, if not ever, since what was it, the moon landing?
Oh, see, I didn't see.
Like in US, like in the U.S. alone, like moon landing type numbers. I wouldn't doubt it, because everybody was talking about it. Everyone has something to say about it. But I love that rebel inside Kendrick. Again, is Kendrick taking this opportunity and this platform to be like, yo, I'm coming in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be me unapologetically. This is Kendrick Lamar from Compton, California. This is Mr. Morale. Y'all wanted me here at the Super Bowl. You got me. Here's what I bring to the table. So I salute it, man. The imagery, everything about it to me was perfect. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we could debate all day we could trivial bullshit. Be like, oh, he should have done this record. He should have done this record. But get the fuck out of here. At the end of the day, you sit back. Like, it's like, I hate when people do that shit, and especially like, and we do it a lot in hip hop. Like, I used to do it too when I was younger. You nitpick an album. Bro.
You start going through like, why did he do this? Why did he do that? Why didn't he do this? He should have done that. And at the end of the day, this is art. When you see a Basquiat or a Van Gogh, you ain't sitting there saying like, I wish you would have used this hue of blue. Mm-hmm. Fuck out of here. You appreciate it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like it, you move on to the next thing. Because there's plenty of paintings out here. There's plenty of different pieces of art out here that you could appreciate.
Bro, I do the same thing. I went to go see Joey at Red Rocks for a 420 show. I'm waiting the entire set list. I mean, he had probably the best set list that I listened to. He just dropped that 2000 album. Loved it. The entire time I'm waiting for Survival Tactics. Said, all right, y'all, peace. Have a good night. Walks off, and I'm pissed. What the fuck, Joey? Where are my Survival Tactics? Like, get your ass out here. Like, what the fuck? I need to hear that. Mm-hmm. But, like, bro, we've heard that shit for 10 years now.
It's your personal preference.
Right. But, like,
you got to look at the bigger picture.
Right.
Yep.
And then, like, just off of that alone, they're evolving.
Yeah.
Joey's on a whole nother. Kendrick right now is not Good Kid, Mad City Kendrick.
Right. He's different. He's on a whole nother stage of his career.
Right. And don't get me wrong, it's good to hear it, but like, nah, it's either keep up or get left behind.
Absolutely.
I need to hear the GNX.
And to be fair, he did 2 records that I think were crucial to his career. He did All the Stars, from the Black Panther soundtrack, and he did
Doing DNA and Humble.
I think those are more street records, like that people really
But
enjoy.
They're street
I still hear
records.
I still hear Humble all the time on the radio.
Well, I mean, yo, Humble just went double diamond.
That's insane, bro. That's crazy.
Double diamond? Like, yo, that's crazy.
It's crazy. And he did not like us. So it's like, to me, I thought it was a dope look. Again, another W for the culture at the end of the day, and that's what we need right now. You know, if you think about hip hop in its whole history, man, like when hip hop started, you know, we only had maybe 10, 15 years, and then Big and Pac passed, and Big and Pac were like our heroes, right? They were our top tier guys, and they never, you know, their lives got cut short. So, you know, almost 30 years removed from that, we're in this whole new, you know, essence of hip hop it's on a high level. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, I've said it before, I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. Nothing moves without hip hop culture. So for us to be in this position of even talking about Kendrick headlining, it's a W, bro.
The thing
It's
about
a
it
huge
now,
W for the culture.
and it's a whole nother aspect for me, but it's the performance. Like, it's not just putting lyrics on a paper. It's well, let me take this to the show. Let me have a whole performance. Let it mean something. You know, imagery. You know, this that, and the third. It's all coming down to
It's
that,
painting a picture.
Right.
That's what, and that's I think what separates hip hop from a lot of other genres is that we you know, MCs, producers, they're especially MCs, they're able to paint that picture with the lyrics that you can't paint elsewhere.
Right.
Right. That imagery, like, you know, you could sit there. I could close my eyes, listen to a big record, and I see those
I'm right
images
there.
play right out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where I think long term and short term, when we look back in history, like when they close this shit the fuck up and hip hop is done and the world ends or whatever the fuck, we're gonna go back and be like, yo, that was a huge W for hip hop. So salute Kendrick, man. Salute PG Lang. Those guys have done a magnificent job. Honestly, man, I think probably since Mr. Morale, the production that Kendrick has with his team, with videos like the Baby Keem videos, the Kendrick videos, the Super Bowl,
The
Cash App commercial
what was that
he did a couple years ago.
What was that tour that they went on? Was it that Mr. Morale that they were on? It was him and Keem. Those visuals, the stage,
Crazy,
I mean,
man.
bro. They had, I mean, shit. I don't even know 100 feet of a stage. You know, going into the crowd. Like, who's thinking of that?
Yeah. Now these guys are high level. They're high level thinkers, and to me, I said this when Kendrick dropped, when the beef happened. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was telling them, we were laughing about it, but I told him I'm serious. Kendrick doing Drake the way he did was so important to the culture from a battle rap perspective because we lost that. So I think I said up on this podcast, like, everyone's so friendly, and no one wanna compete. You know, and I think Kendrick caught wind of that when he first came out. You know, when he dropped Control, he was telling these motherfuckers like, yo, Cole, Sean, Jay Elect, like, I love y'all, but I'm about to rip y'all head off. Like, and then we kind of got into that competition mode. And then now it's like this new generation, and obviously your generation who's listening to Kendrick the past 10, 15 years, you're able to unpack these things at a high level because it's never been done before in hip hop. Or if it was done, it was done in the previous generation, like my generation, where, you know, I had Nas, I had Big, I had Jay, I had Eminem, I had Pun. You know what I'm saying? The generation before, you know, I had X in my generation, but generation before we had Kane and Cool G Rap and, you know what I'm saying, Rakim. And then it morphed into Nas. And then the next generation after that, I didn't have anything. If you think about it, we had Kanye, but Kanye was a little different. Kanye really didn't represent from that paint and picture level, that massive lyrical, big movie concept type of albums. We didn't get that until Kendrick came out. You know what I'm saying? So right. I think it's so important that when we look at hip hop, again, from its inception to now, that when Kendrick did what he did to Drake, I loved it and I saluted it because it was like, yo, this is hip hop. This is the culture. You know, he said it in a record, yo. It's not just me. I'm with the culture feeling. And he's right. because we need someone at that level to represent for the culture. And he's doing it. He's doing it at the highest stage of all. And that tells you something about Kendrick. So,
Right.
like it or love it.
Right. He could have turned around and did nothing but hits.
Right.
And
He could have went the corporate route and it's like,
right. Cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter.
Okay, here's my don't kill my vibe. DNA. Humble.
He could have done Loyalty or something. You know, join Rihanna. He
right.
could have brought Rihanna out.
Literally.
So, again, I think when we talk about hip hop collectively, from hip hop starting in the Bronx to being at the biggest stage of all the Super Bowl, if you can't salute that, then you a hater. Now, are there things I would have done differently? Maybe. Are there things that I wanted to see? Absolutely, but it ain't about that shit.
So the one thing that just crossed my mind, the one person that everybody else was thinking of instead of Kendrick on a hip hop standpoint, Wayne. It's
Okay.
in New Orleans.
Right.
Wayne had this crazy 2000s run that was just astronomical.
Right.
But I mean, in my eyes, I said no from the get go. I saw Wayne a couple years ago and I wasn't too impressed. You know, I think that, you know, performance wise, it just wasn't there. And then you're thinking Super Bowl, the pinnacle of performances, and it's 13 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it.
It's hard because I think I'm pretty sure Wayne and team felt some kind of way about not being included.
Oh, for sure.
Because I do think that Wayne should have been considered. Now, I don't know. He might have been considered, and maybe it was a scheduling thing. Maybe he couldn't do it, or maybe he felt this isn't the time for me right now, or whatever. Like, we don't really know, right? We could speculate. But when we're looking at the Super Bowl and we're looking at Legacy Act, it might have been dope to see Wayne in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? That city's been through a lot. So I think it would have been a great moment as well. And it probably wouldn't have been just as great of a moment as Kendrick, right? But I don't know, man. And I don't really want to speculate because, you know, I think Wayne's one of those guys that he's a legend, man. He's been around for a long time.
Oh,
and I know there was a lot of rumors about, like, he'd show up late to performances or he wasn't reliable because I know he's been on tour a lot lately. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think that should, like, he's a professional. He's going to know. This is a Super Bowl. It's a big opportunity, right?
Yeah, there's a fine line between going to a club
now,
or, you know, the next show.
Now, let me tell you something. Let's not put it past Jay to play politics because historically that's what Jay does. Okay? And I love Jay. I'm not here to, like, hate on Jay. And, you know, I love Jay. I love Jay. He's one of my favorites, but I've known from personal experience and some of the people that I ran with, politics is what Jay does. So maybe there was some type of political reasoning that Wayne didn't get the slot. But it's cool. Like, Wayne ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? He's a legend. He's going to be here for a long time. So hopefully he does get a shine because I do think if we're talking about hip-hop acts, legacy acts, you know, I think you got to put Wayne in that category. You got to put Drake in that category. You got to put you know, Eminem in that category, Jay, Nas, like there are legacy acts that I think can do the Super Bowl and do it correctly and, again, represent for the culture 100%.
A Nas halftime would make me lose myself.
I love to see it, man.
I'd
love to see it,
I'd go
man.
ballistic.
I would too. I'll go buy tickets. I won't fuck the football game. Facts. Who's playing?
Nas.
Get him out of here. Nas is out here, bro. Nasir Jones is out here, bro. So, yeah, man. But, again, a big W for the culture. And I think at the end of the day, like, we need to salute it and let's go up from here. You know what I mean? Whoever might be the next artist in the next 5-10 years, right? I hope that artist is, like, watching this, getting inspired and like, yo, I want to do that shit. I want to take it to that next level because that's how we keep this shit alive.
Facts.